Another week, another fortnight. Snap. And what happens when you snap?
Not a lot. Because my hand's inside a cushion. Hello! I've erased 1/3 of the universe. Right, it's just us then, Ed. It'd be funny if you can't figure out how to get yourself back.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, he's back. You've been unsnapped. Well played.
Hello, Benjamin. Good night, sir. How are you?
Hi, Benjamin. The Waffler.
The Waffler. The Waffler. The Waffler is in the house. Hello.
Sweet.
Oh, my daughter's wishing me a good night and telling me how much she loves me. Isn't that sweet?
Bless.
Oh. There we go. So what have we been up to?
Stuff and things. Making videos about ancient Batman vehicles, things of this nature.
Yes, I did watch it.
Thank you, sir.
I did watch it.
It's ticking on quite nicely, that one, actually.
Oh, is it? I was just about to say, I think I was one of the 3.
Harsh, but fair.
No, that's quite
It's
nasty.
all relative.
That's me being a bitch.
Well, I was quite surprised because I've suddenly managed to garner quite a collection of them. And the funny thing was, until I came to look for the details of a video to reuse, I didn't realise I'd already done a video on Batman stuff. When my collection was a fraction of the size, so that was quite nice to sort of revisit it in that sense.
You're going to keep learning stuff and then keep updating videos.
Yeah, it's always possible.
That's what I reckon.
It's always possible.
Are you still trying to suss things out, Ed?
Sorry, no, I would just... sorry, I'm running late and I just had a couple of bits to finish off while we're...
All right.
What's that?
Looks like someone's had a delivery.
A mystery package, no less. Could it be?
Wasting no time.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I just finishing a couple of bits off. So.
Okay, you disappeared for?
Hey?
What did you disappear for?
I thought I heard someone coming up ladders, but...
Okay.
So, right, yes. So, yeah, sorry, I was just running a bit late. I had a couple of bits to do, so I was just running a bit late.
Do you need to disappear and finish them?
I don't think so, no. I will go to the toilet, though.
All right, okay.
So, there'll be an empty chair for a moment.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Ed,
What?
there might be something there for you.
Somewhere where?
There might be a parcel waiting for you. I think you've just had a delivery.
This? What's this? What is it?
I couldn't answer that. I have no idea.
Right, so you
Hang
want
on,
to
hang
be
on,
broken?
hang on. I'm going to use the force. I'm going to use the force and sense your presence.
It's
Sense his
rather
presence.
heavy. Right, okay.
Orlando.
This is all Andy.
It's not a shepherd's pie, is it?
Oh, God, no.
As long as it's not ticking, you're all right.
Hello, Rolando. He's driving, but he's listening. Benjamin wants to know what's in the box.
He's about to find out.
Right, what's all this about then?
How do I do this now?
Well, show us then. We can't see. Put him on the big screen.
That's what I'm trying to do. Oh,
Now, when you were talking about my my having seen my collection of the day,
Hello,
you
Bob wants to
mentioned
know if it's a spectrum.
no,
There we go.
that's you. That's it. There we go.
There we
Right.
So you mentioned when you were looking at my my collection of the day that there were some bits and bobs in there that you had example of. You said that
Yeah.
90% of what I was showing you had.
Yeah.
The kills that you said that you didn't have them in your
No.
collection. So I have some spares.
Right.
So have a dig in there and see what you find.
Right. Okay. So first thing then, a Rocketron.
That's an Exploratron, which you said that you remembered from when you
Yes.
were little. Yes.
I did. Yeah. The and the other one I had was the green one that had like the
Yeah.
rock cockpit on it. Yellow. Oh, it rolls as well.
Yeah. I think it still goes.
Cool. Right. So that's that. I'll. Oh. Look at it.
It's a very tidy shelf. That's handy.
Well, it's funny is that because
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
this must be the universe trying to tell me something because the other day I actually cleared that shelf off and I wasn't sure what to do with it because obviously the spectrums
Yeah.
are usually on there. Right, what have we got next? Oh,
Now those you said you remembered.
yes.
You do know, Andy, you've just started him down an entire new rabbit hole now.
Unfortunately, it's not a very expensive rabbit hole.
What? Sorry, these are mine.
Yes, those are yours. They
Really?
were my.
I
they
thought
were my.
I thought you just sent them for me to have a look.
No, they're my spares. I already have another example of all of these, so you're
Right.
welcome to them.
Right. Okay. So you have to let me know how much I owe you for them.
Well, it's fine. They're not. I'd say they're not massively expensive, so don't you know. But I just thought that you'd like to see them again, so
Yeah.
I went to. So they've gone via Gareth to your mum, to your wife, to you.
Right. They were at my mum's.
Well, how else could I get them to you without you knowing?
Right. Well, I've spoken to my mum too because it's my mum's birthday. Happy birthday, mum.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Maureen.
Maureen.
No, I told her she had to keep her mouth shut.
Right. I see.
It was a surprise.
Now that one's not so great. The wings will come out, but they're a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
If you tilt it in the right direction. No, I thought that's done quite well actually. I freed it up a bit, I think. It was quite cool because it's got gold wing doors and everything. That little one.
Yeah.
I quite liked that when I found it.
Oh, that'd be good.
It's one of those nice finite collections because there aren't that many of them, so you can sort of get most of them pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
I think you said you mentioned that was one that you particularly sort of remembered. So
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one was. And it was, that one, and then it was one that like plugged into
yes,
another one.
that one was the one that was in 2000 AD. That they actually used that exact
Right.
model and put it into 2000 AD for Judge Dredd to roll around in the Cursed Earth in.
All right.
Something called a Land Raid or something, but there was a 2000 AD crossover with it. Yeah.
Ah, cool. Ooh.
I only had half of one of those spare, so I didn't bother with that one because I had a spare front unit.
Start small and get big.
Yes.
Hang on a minute. We need to just hang on.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Just hold your horses. Talk amongst yourself.
He's got a cunning plan, Gareth, I feel.
Well, wait till I see what else is in the box.
Sweet. Captain Buck Rogers. Yeah. But that was great. So I used to be able to take that to school in my pocket. It's that tiny.
Sorry, Andy. What was that?
So I used to be able to take that one to school in my pocket because it was that tiny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've got to leave that playing now because I've got to hear that theme tune now. I've got to hear it.
Good pickup.
It's just as well I'm not able to monetize this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is now. I'm not sure if we do it just for that bit of audio, then. If we talk over it a lot, it should be fine.
Wait for it.
Absolutely.
That's
I've got the
what
DVDs out actually, so I actually want to rewatch it because I've got another video idea that will loosely
Just
involve
just give me a minute. Wilma Deering's coming on. Just
that. do, you want some private time?
yeah. Just give us 3 or 4 minutes. Oh yeah, awesome. Right, I'll just move that up our way now. Yeah, I remember. I had both of them. I had the little one and the big one.
I think you mentioned those as well at some point. So
Yeah,
again, I see them and I can't help but pick them up. It's a bit
but the thing about that one was, as a kid, I did chop that bit out.
I've got one like that somewhere. Someone did exactly that. Funnily enough, it makes it lethal because it's metal.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Authentic looking, but lethal.
Yeah, but I seem to remember as well. But I think I pretty much lost it immediately, or not long after getting it. But it came with a book and a tweaker. They
did, yeah. I've seen boxed examples, and that you're right. They did come with the figures. Yeah.
And I'm just trying to remember. Were the missiles yellow? Were they same as the wings?
Possibly orange. I'm not sure, but they could have been yellow. Yeah. But I've always loved it as a ship. I think it's a lovely ship. It's brilliant.
Well, that was one of the original designs for the Viper for Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, it could have been the Viper. Originally, it was the Viper, absolutely. Yeah, and then they sort of shifted it last minute. It was a Ralph McQuarrie design, I think.
What? And it would also the special effects team that worked on Star Wars.
Yes, because the snow speeder was him as well, I believe.
Yeah. And what happened after Battlestar Galactica, because the effects team were working on Battlestar Galactica using Lucasfilm equipment, and George Lucas found out and he sacked them all.
Oh, ouch!
But he rehired most of them back, apart from the one main guy whose name escapes me. But he then went on to set up his own special effects company. But yeah, no, that's a great ship, is that? Oh, right then, another one. Let me just.
I'm starting to forget what else is in there now.
No, I know what's here. Again, this was another one. I had this one and I had the little one as well.
Oh yes.
Moonraker.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
I'm so surprised by this, Andy, because I was expecting them all to be quite well worn, well played with. They seem to be in really good condition.
Well, the thing is, I'm fairly picky about what I get. Not ridiculously, but I wouldn't get completely battle damaged ones. Yeah. Yep, so you got your satellite in there as well. I've come off lucky with the satellites because sometimes I've not realised I've left them in, and often people charge a tenner just for the satellite. With the Moonraker, so it's worth selling them separately if you've got them separately.
Yeah,
it's got proper landing gear and everything. It's got a little pullback thing for the landing gear.
Little
tab on the bottom. But again, I loved that because it was a die-cast space shuttle. I didn't have to build out a bloody plastic kit.
Yeah,
created plastic kits.
But I always wondered as a kid. I mean, obviously, now as an adult, I wonder if it was something to do with likeness rights or something because, they changed the design of the cockpit. Because in the movie, they look like space shuttles, but obviously for the toy, the cockpit area is different.
So it is a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I used to...
model.
I remember as a kid, the tall fairy liquid bottles? So like that.
The boost for the booster in the fuel tank, yeah.
That was before they stopped painting them white. Because the big fuel tank, they used to paint it white each launch.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, but then it left it orange.
Yeah, they stopped because it cost money, and also it made it lighter as well. So it made it more efficient when it were taking off. So they just left it that primed, like, orange colour. So, right then, let's move the bubble wrap. And and funnily enough, I have just posted today.
Please don't buy it now, because that...
on this day... in 1986, issue 28 of the Zoids came out. And here we have the Zoids annual. This annual was actually advertised in issue 28, which came out on this day. in 1986.
And it fits the continuity well of the individual comics. But I've always loved that one for the Jeff Senior strip in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, immediately, as soon as I've opened it, you can tell it's Jeff Senior's artwork.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
you know,
it's just brilliant. It's lovely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Andrew Wildman's stuff, but I do personally believe that Jeff Senior, I prefer his style of
Yeah, I've always loved his stuff. I've got so much of his stuff in one way or another, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome, is that? That's awesome. So I end up sitting here, right? You're talking with yourself. I'll just sit and read all that. The Secret Wars. Yes.
Yeah, it's only that one because that's just got the advertisement in it, which I've just discovered there were actually two of, and I think they're both derived from the audio book, which is The Legend of Heroic Combat.
Yeah.
So I've done a video on that, and they've sort of picked and mixed from the Legend of Heroic Combat audiobook to make two different comic adverts. So one was in that one, and one was in another completely random Spider-Man comic from earlier in '85.
But I'm just trying to think now, this bit of an advertisement that is in the thing, didn't that appear in, was it the special where it was about the Namer, when he was going round and was observing them?
Yes and no. If you look in the annual, you'll see frames from that comic, probably.
Oh.
Yeah, in the annual as well. So in the text story at the beginning, you can start to see the same imagery is in there and in the advertisement. Yeah,
I recognise that
exactly.
picture there.
So they reused quite a lot of stuff. You know, I think they must have done it. I think Toby must have commissioned it, because I think Marvel did help to promote a lot of toy-related comic stuff at the time. Yeah, and that's how this sort of crossover was kind of happening. They just reused that artwork in lots of different locations. It's quite fascinating to see the sort of the thinking behind how they were reusing the resources that they had even back then. So from a licensing point of view, it's quite fascinating, really.
Right, amazing. Right. Oh, you've got the special as well.
Well, there's a reason for that, sir. And the reason for that is that, by my calculations, that collected comics collects all the issues that were in Secret Wars, which are therefore missing from Spider-Man and Zoids.
Yeah.
So if you dig a little bit deeper in that box, you will see that you now have a complete run of Spider-Man and Zoids. Because, sir, you're rubbish at eBay, and I am a very patient man. So basically what happened was that I got the opportunity to grab a full run off eBay, but I'd already got quite a few bits and bobs of various job lots of issues. So I finally managed to get the missing bits. So there you have in your hot sticky hands issues 1 through 51 of Spider-Man and Zoids in reasonable shape. So I thought you might quite fancy that.
God bless you. That's all I can say. No, that's I'm genuinely chuffed. That's
good. I'm glad. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Yeah,
I thought that's a deserving place for them to go to, because there aren't many people who'd probably be after it. But there's a buy it now up for issues sort of 2 to 51, and I thought, please God, don't let me have noticed that before that arrives on his doorstep. That'd be
well, to be fair, to be brutally honest, I've stayed away from all. Well, I've stayed away from eBay, and I've stayed away from all like the websites that I buy stuff from, because I've had notification, because I've had quite a lot of pre-orders that I placed this year, and I was expecting to be fair, half of them I was expecting maybe November, December, and then the others early part of next year. Well, sort of like a third of them have just actually dropped. So I got some today. Some are coming tomorrow, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's, I just think no.
Get pricey.
Yeah, I just thought I'm not ready. But that's you don't know how much appreciate that. That's just I
I have to thank my partner in crime there for his assistance with the cunning plan, Mission Impossible side of the project.
I don't mind admitting I've had an absolutely shit couple of weeks, and that's just cheered me up. Right?
Good.
So.
Good.
Well, it can't have been that bad because I've been to see you twice.
Yeah, but I'm good at wearing masks.
No, but I mean, I should have been able to lift your spirits. Just my mere presence.
Well, funnily enough, the days where I felt worst, I think, coincided with.
Ouch!
No. What made me feel worse on Saturday was I was really cheesed off with that shepherd's pie on Saturday.
It was bloody lovely.
That really, really peed me off. Did that?
Well, we all enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad that you did. I'm happy that you did enjoy it. But no,
admittedly, I went to the toilet 5 times the following day.
Yeah, you will do. It
But
was.
it was
I tend to make the sauce a little rich. But yeah, no, it's. Yeah, it came this close to being wanged. Right, I shall pop this to one side. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's time this live stream was about someone else other than me.
Well, I have popped Andy's link to his YouTube channel in the chat, just in case anyone was interested in your little Zoids piece there, because he's got a lot of videos.
Yes.
And he goes in great detail about those Zoids comics and annuals and all the other bits and bobs, and I've watched all of those videos.
The hilarious thing is, I don't think I've actually sat and just read the damn things yet. I've been so busy analysing them, I haven't actually sat and just read it.
If you want to know a bit more about them, check out his channel.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed.
I mean, the irony was I only actually started getting them because there was one particular storyline that I particularly remember, which was the Black Zoid saga. But it turned out that was actually very difficult to collect, so I just ended up getting more and more of them. And then I thought, this has escalated quickly. It's like, it would now be rude not to get the whole bunch. So yeah, funny.
Yeah, it's what I'm finding quite interesting is that each week that I'm like posting the covers from the Zoid comics.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll post the cover and then I'll give a breakdown of the synopsis and then the backup strips and like any extra features and that.
They're interesting as well, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how I know you've discussed this before, and I think you've discussed it in one of your videos on YouTube where you say about how often the other thing that I like, the Transformers thing, they do the crossover with the adverts and the cross promotion.
Yeah.
But also the backup strips as well, because it's like, I know in the early issues of the Zoid comic, it was kind of imbalanced that it was only a very small Zoid strip, but it seemed to be predominantly Spider-Man, even though Zoids was the lead strip. Well, it was Spider-Man and Zoids on the cover, but Zoids was the first strip and then Spider-Man was the backup strip. So the kind of bit of a cross thing going off there.
Zoids was the original strip because all the Spider-Man ones were reprints.
Yes, there were, yeah. And then you then get others coming in, like Fantastic Four. So you've got Zoid, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, things like that. And then you get, I think it only lasted, was it about 3, maybe 4 issues? You got Star Wars, sorry.
There was Star Wars was in it, Sectors was in it as well at one point at the start.
But the Star Wars, I think it was 3 or 4 issues and then it was just gone. Not issue 28, but issue 27, you had a double Spider-Man backup strip because you had the regular Spider-Man backup and then they reprinted the first issue of Spider-Man where it shows you his origin.
Oh, right, yeah. And there's Venom was in it as well and all sorts. Gareth's got a box.
He has, yes. What's in Gareth's box?
About his box. What's in your box, Gareth?
Well, I had to pay for this one. I didn't get this one given. Let's have a look. Unboxing time. It's one of those days. Have you got a box you can open as well, Andy?
No, I've got some show and tells though.
Oh well, great. Yeah, I decided not to do an actual unboxing video for these because the last one that I did, if anything, I got nothing but heckled. So I thought, you know what, sod you all. And people were going on about, oh, the fakes, the this, the that. And I'm like, yeah, I know they are.
Oh, was that from the animated series?
No, it's from the
Caravan of Courage. Okay.
movie. Yes.
Yeah.
The Gorax monster. I like the fact that he's actually gone to an effort of making a box for this one. Table strap, isn't it? Yes. There's more than that in there as well.
Wax.
Right, just quickly, while Gareth's doing that, I'll. That was the intro music for the Ewoks cartoon from back in '85. Yeah.
Series 1 or 2.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because I'm pretty sure when I watched Ewoks, there was also another intro song. It was all like Yub Nub. Da, 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 da. So was that the intro for season 2?
There was season 1 and season 2. We both had different intros.
Right, so it must be the intro for season 2 then, the Yub Nub one.
I think they sometimes did that as a sort of general kind of backgroundy sort of thing when they were moving.
Right.
There was sort of bum 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 sort of music as well. You know, incidental music. I know this because I used to have a clip of it on my channel actually. It might even still be there, but just not.
It's quite heavy.
Not sort of searchable. But it was like a little intro cut because it was like I think it had a droids and a Ewok cartoon on one thing. I remember it being odd because the cassette was just like a cardboard slip. It wasn't in a plastic case.
Yeah.
No idea if I still got it. I had a load of videos stolen at my car once with my car, which was annoying. But
Caravan.
But the
Caravan.
Gareth
There's some more of these to come, and I'll be collecting them on Sunday, apparently, at the Bolton Toy Fair. But he has sent me... Yeah.
That's the wrong way for me on Sunday. Right, cool.
More Caravan of Courage figures. You got Chuck Hat Trock, which is an Ewok warrior. And Low Grey Ewok Shaman. So that's probably just a recolor of the actual one from Return of the Jedi.
I was going to say, I'm sure he was in the cartoon, wasn't he, as well, I think?
He was in the cartoon as well. He was the leader of the tribe, really, I think. No, it wasn't. But, yeah. And then the 2 human characters from the film as well.
Oh, yes.
The original Mace. And Sindel.
So is it? I mean, I've never seen those films. I'm
not sure. I've definitely seen bits of them. I know, and I definitely know of them. And I remember I have like live images from them in my head, but I don't know if I've seen more than just the trailer. I don't know.
Right.
Okay. Well, they are on Disney Plus.
Right. But I have seen one of the villains that's in one of the films looks like there's 2 things it looks like. It kind of looks like the villain that turns up in the face kind of looks like the villain that's in Galaxy Quest. There's a bit of a look there, but also as well in Poltergeist 2 when Kane turns into a demon, it kind of looks like that as well. Is that Wilford Brimley?
It certainly is.
Does he start talking about diabetes in the film?
Not that I can remember. No, I've got to be honest with you. It must be 20, maybe 25 years since I've last seen these films.
Right.
Fair dues.
But just quickly on when we're talking about theme tunes, you see, I used to like. Well, I still do like it. The theme tune to Droids. Yeah, I like that one. And interestingly, it was by Stuart Copeland from The Police that did that.
Okay.
It's
There we
like,
go. Oh, hang on, no,
Oh, wow.
he needs his accessory, doesn't he?
It looks quite
is
big.
this one
actually.
from Ewoks as well?
This is from one of the Ewok movies, yeah, from the first one. Caravan of Courage. It's called a Gorax.
Useful
Does it
for
weapon?
Scrabble.
I might have to drill that all out a little bit for him to hold the weapon, but there we go. Now, I did say to the guy, I said, because straight away when I saw this, I was thinking about putting it with the Godzilla stuff, because it's a bit like Kaiju. I said, I can just see it in translucent pink glittered plastic.
I think he wants a Predator's mask put on him.
So the two Ewok movies then, are they set post Jedi?
I think so.
Right.
Think so, yeah. There might not be, but then again, if there weren't, then where's the kids in Return of the Jedi?
What's it called? Caravan
Of Courage.
Caravan of Courage.
I mean, they probably were genuinely the first spin-offs, apart from the holiday
Special. It's
special.
funny you should mention the holiday special.
Whoa. Do we have to?
Because the holiday special was the
It's on
first
Disney.
appearance. It is. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Is it not? Oh.
It was the first
Burn.
appearance of a certain character.
That Mrs. Chewbacca. Oh. Okay.
Ah, Mr. Fett.
Yeah,
Seamless.
but he didn't come.
Fett? Really?
Yeah, Boba Fett. And he didn't come. This is how he appeared in the animated sequence in the holiday special.
Oh, there was an animated sequence. Oh, I'm with you now.
Yeah, right in the middle. It's the only part of the holiday special that's any good. But he didn't come on his own.
I have seen that figure before, though.
Yeah, he had something else,
Uh-oh.
which is wrapped up in here.
Oh, is it? It's. I know what it is.
He knows what it is, apparently.
I love the colour that they've made this in. It's not
So
like
I won't spoil it, but I know what it is. There you go. It's what Bo-Katan went looking for.
the Crate Dragon.
What?
Yeah, not Crate Dragon. Mythosaur.
Get out.
Yep. I mean, obviously they've changed the design since then, but that's what it is.
Just a bit. Okay.
I love this. It's quite heavy as well because they're not plastic; they are resin. So and it's solid.
Oh, okay. So it's quite solid.
Absolutely solid. So it's made in two. Well, it's made in several parts because the tail there you can see the seam,
Yeah.
and then there's another one there.
All right then. So
There's a big ugly one actually around there, which is filled in with some glue. But yeah,
It looks more like bloody moss chops on acid.
I like it.
there's going to be a bit of a conundrum here. Apparently, the two Ewok films are set 150 years after Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
150 years after.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realise Ewoks lived that long.
Yeah.
Healthy outdoor living, clearly. Agrees with them.
Yeah, so the set around 154 years ABY.
Oh,
After the Battle of Yavin, kids, I believe. Yes.
that's right. Yes. Oh,
And apparently,
that's new.
in one of the scenes, you see a young Ewok playing with a toy AT-AT.
Oh,
Yes, you do.
clever.
Yes, you do.
Is it one of the Kenner AT-ATs, or is it just a? It is.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I think it is one of the better ones.
But that
Yeah,
happens more than you think.
let's pimp our new merchandise here.
Well, it's not even that, though. I think a lot of the time, series did actually take the toys that were produced and then kind of recycled them to use them in the series because it was cheaper than them doing it in-house.
Well,
So they
I
probably
know
just paint them up a bit and then recycle them effectively.
for Return of the Jedi, when it shows you when the Emperor is arriving on the second Death Star, the TIE fighters that are in the distance are actually the die-cast Kenner ones.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, And then you've also got V as well. They had V toys in V, but they never ended up getting produced. They got cancelled.
I used to pretend I had V toys.
Was it Galoo?
I used to. I think it was Matchbox did it. They did a sort of a car garage construction set, orange base plates, white pillars. And I used the white pillars either as V-ships because they were white.
Yeah.
I could fly them around like that. Or as the Termoid carrier ships from Starfleet.
Right.
Because I didn't have any toys of them either. So I had to use my imagination.
Yeah. I think the only ones that they did release was I think they did a 12-inch Visitor that you could take the face off and see the lizard bits.
Yeah.
And then I think they did some like peripheral merchandise, but I don't think there was specific stuff. It was just like things like laser guns that they just shoved V branding on and things like that.
Yeah.
But I believe the 3 3/4-inch stuff, I think some of the vehicles were recycled from Dukes of Hazzard. So like I think the recycled Daisy Duke's Jeep for one of them.
Right.
And things like that, but yeah, the 3 3/4 stuff they got cancelled, so they never got released.
Interesting,
which is a shame.
I ran utterly randomly. There's a sort of an antique store in Halifax that I sometimes pop into because you get sort of little random bits and bobs of all sorts. And I picked up a V storybook like aimed at kids, and I was like,
right.
Why is that a thing? Like, I as a kid, the only way I got to watch V was because I was able to time set my video recorder for midnight recording, because that's when it was on in the schedules. Because it was quite scary when you were little.
Well, the thing it's the one thing I remember as a kid. My mum let me stop up and watch.
Oh my god!
But the thing was, the original miniseries, it was on at. I think it started at 9, and then it finished at 10 for news at 10, and then it came back on at 10:30, and then I think it finished at something like about 11 o'clock, and I think they showed it over. Was it 2 subsequent nights? Was it or 4?
It was quite long. It was
4. I think the original miniseries I think was 4 parts, and then they did the final battle, which was the year later. And then they did the TV series, which was just like, it's TV series wasn't great.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
Who was the other bloke? Was it Gary? Was it Gary Cole? Or was it somebody else? Who was the main hero chap?
It was Mark Singer.
Oh, Mark Singer. Yeah,
Beastmaster. Beastmaster. Yeah. Who is the brother of Laurie Singer, who's in Fame and plays Ariel in Footloose.
It's a small world in those days, yeah.
It was. And that's how you get 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yes. Indeed, yes.
So what else have you got there, Gareth?
That's it.
Oh, right.
I'm just busy playing. Playing, to be honest.
You're fettling it so you can get the accent.
I've managed to get the accent now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shove it any further, I don't think. I think that'll do for now. I got a lot of... Well, I didn't get a lot of criticism, but a lot of comments in the premiere when I put the video up of me opening some Droids and Ewoks cartoon figures before. Everyone was just going on about the fakes, the copies, the this, the that. Well, I challenge anyone to tell me the same of all those, because they're all brand new, unique sculpts.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, even the packaging is clearly not the original Ewoks or sort of Droids era packaging. I would have said.
Well, no, definitely not. And they're really, really thick as well.
Yeah, they look. Yeah.
Is the card.
I mean, the thing is, you're always going to have those type of collectors that will relish in pointing out that it's something that's fake and it's not original. But to counteract that, it's like, well, who cares? It's like it's your money.
Show me Kenner's version of these.
Yeah. It's your money.
Yeah.
It's a collectible that you want and you're going to enjoy. So, what does it matter? It doesn't make it any less.
He has said as well that he's going to. He forgot to include it in the package, but he. He forgot to include it in the package, but he knows I've got to collect some more from him that he didn't have ready in time to send out on Sunday. So he said he's going to include a freebie, and it's a surprise, and I don't know what it's going to be. So I'm quite excited to see what that is.
Cool. So what's your show and tells, Andy?
Come on.
All right. Well, this is something I picked up, and I never ever had this when I was little. But now I'm going to get the name of it wrong as well. I think it's a Lancer Cycle. This is a Visionaries vehicle.
Right.
I don't know if you can see, but it's still got its holograms on the wings. It's actually got one, I think, here as well, but you can't really see it very well. Initially, I nearly tore this off. I thought it was just sort of sellotape, but I think it's supposed to be something holographic, but it's kind of lost its shine. There's also another hologram up the top there. You can still see the face on. But actually, I don't think it didn't last very long as a series, and it's quite a limited number of figures for it. But actually, I was remarkably impressed by the sheer size of this thing, because it's quite big. I mean, it's big, and it's got obviously this is the lance bit. It's got a sort of secondary weapon there as well. It's got this sort of big roller wheel, which isn't really there to let it move, but it's got these wheels on the bottom there, which will let it go. But never having had one in my hands before, and room for the cockpit, obviously in here that you can put the figure in behind.
Yeah,
I just thought that was actually really impressive, and I think it seems to me like one of those quality toys that sadly didn't quite take off, because the holograms on the figures are still incredibly bright and vibrant, and they're 40 years old. It's like, I don't know how radioactive they are or anything, but it's still.
What were the scale of the figures on those?
Ooh, I'll refer to my honourable friend Gareth.
Something like that.
Right, so there's slightly bigger than Star Wars figures.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm going to do a video on that sort of issue as well, actually. But yeah,
I mean, if not that you would, but if you were to remove the holograms and things from that could be an Action Force vehicle.
Yes, it could be an enemy sort of Action Force vehicle, couldn't it?
I was actually thinking that it would be nice to have that beside my Roboscope.
Yeah,
I was thinking it'd go right next to it.
But I was watching an auction. The thing with this is, I could easily have picked this up without the wings and without a cockpit, and almost have been none the wiser had I not thought to check ahead of time. Because actually, getting them in this sort of state, and this was me being picky again. But I refused to pick one up that was largely, missing bits, basically. So I know you can still find these boxed. I've seen them boxed, but they weren't like a huge range of vehicles for the series. There were maybe 4, I think. Like a captured chariot and a sky claw, and I think that was largely it. And this one, but I was just quite impressed by the sheer sort of size of it, really. So I'm just surprised that, because I thought the hook for the series was quite clever, where the sort of the technology had to be sort of recharged to make it work, because the age of magic had taken over from the age of technology, but they could on occasion still recharge the vehicles to make them work with magic. So I thought it was quite good, and it had Merlin in it and all that sort of stuff. So I thought it was quite a decent series, and I've got the cartoon on DVD still. So they did a sort of 13-episode cartoon of it as a as a tool to help with the selling of it, and that was well done as well. As I recall, the thing is, it's again, it's one of those things I haven't sat down and watched again, but I remember the intro was good.
So what was the basic synopsis of it then?
Well, I say the basic synopsis was that the planet was quite technologically advanced, but then there was some great turmoil, and it actually went back to being magical. So all the people who had been technologically advanced and had vehicles like that and their armor and stuff all got sort of depowered effectively. So there were the spectral knights and the darkling lords. So good, evil, all that good stuff. And they sought out Merlin. I think they had to go on a quest to find Merlin. And Merlin then gave them all magical totems that they wore on their chests. And some of them also got power staffs. But every time they used the power staff, they had to go and recharge it from him, basically. So they had to keep on his good side. And they were basically just sort of scrapping over various things and trying to sort of get the technology up and running again and all that sort of stuff. So that was the basic premise. And they had rhymes that activated their sort of special abilities that their chest totems gave them. And on my website, I do have a listing of all the rhymes that the various characters used to activate their various things. That was back in the day when I was doing my 80s nostalgia bit on my website. That was one of the pages on it. So, but they had sort of cool names like sort of Witterquick and Cryotech and Sindar and all this good stuff. But it was genuinely new. It was genuinely inventive. I just think it probably just caught the tail end of that time when plastic figures and stuff were. But I do remember being really impressed by the plastic figures at the time because their articulation was brilliant. They actually had knees and elbows and turny heads and helmets and stuff. So the look of it, I really, really liked. It was just that little bit different.
Isn't the articulation like a G.I. Joe figure?
I don't know. It might be. I'm not up on my G.I. Joe at all, I'm afraid, so I couldn't say. I've got one in my cabinet downstairs, so I got one from you the other day. Because there was one. You had one upstairs in one of your cabinets, didn't you?
Yes, I still need to check the hologram for you, don't I?
yeah. Because I think he's got a cheat and he's supposed to have something else. Forget what he's supposed to have, but yeah. But no, I mean it's still a good. It's still. I just enjoy the figures, full stop, because the one that I've got, it's constantly catching my eye because the hologram is just catches any sort of light and it's just like glowing out of the cabinet at you. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's the same articulation as a G.I. Joe figure. Yeah,
I did check for you, and they are 5 inches tall.
5 inch.
They are quite big then.
Same as the modern Doctor Who figures.
Okay. Interesting. I had a couple of other bits.
I was just about to remove you from big screen, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just had this one. This one I just picked up recently because it was relatively reasonable. Because I got this corgi spider bike, which is effectively exactly the same as the Batman bike. Yeah. But it actually it comes with the spider figure, and it's also got missiles up the front, exactly like the Bat bike. So you can guess where those missiles are going to end up, can't you? In the Bat bike. Well, yeah, exactly. But in the Bat bike first, hopefully. But it is exactly the same. It's got this nice little kickstand as well, so you can actually stand it up in and of itself when you're not actually sort of playing with it. But I quite liked it. I don't think I had one.
I had that and the Batman one.
Yeah, but they are cool because I just like the way that the just got cool wheels and obviously you can actually twist it so you can sort of maneuver it around.
They look like mag wheels that used to have on BMXs.
Yes, they do. Yeah, sort of five spoke kind of arrangement. Yeah, because it's 5 spokes. There you go.
See, he needs that for when he has to go out of city and he runs out of skyscrapers to swing from.
Well, it was always a bit harsh, wasn't it? It was Paul Spider-Man. He never ever had any gadgets worth a damn. He was always broke. He could barely afford web fluid when he had web fluid as a thing.
Web shooters.
But it's to that thing with regards to superheroes and vehicles. I mean, another one I had as a kid was this like Superman one that had like fists at the front.
What, this one?
But the bigger one.
Completely unplanned, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and it's like, what does Superman need with one of them for?
I've had this self-same conversation, and I do actually have a video in the pipelines where I will make this self-same observation. But did you have this one, or did you have this one?
I had the big one.
You had the big one. I've never had the big one before. I only
with the red. I remember the red fists.
Yeah, well the thing is,
you do.
The fists came in all sorts of different colours. But the reason I noticed this image at the back, and I thought that's weird. I don't remember my little one having that at the back because it has a sort of stick out thing at the back, the little one. And then it twigged. I thought, of course, there was a bigger one. So the thing is, when you see them in auctions, that's a bit of a dead giveaway that they're different.
Yeah.
But when you actually see them, if someone's taking a sort of relatively up close picture, the actual modelling is exactly the same. So if you can't see the back end of it and you just sort of see them front on, the only other giveaway is the missile holes here. That's actually really the only difference.
The red intakes on these wings as well.
I suppose so, yeah. But as I say, you'd have to be looking pretty hard unless someone really sort of drew your attention to it. So they're both Corgi, and they're both called Supermobiles. So if someone just said Corgi Supermobile, you'd be none the wiser unless you happen to notice that they were completely different scales, and they are massively different. But as I say, I think I've only seen it in a shop a couple of times, if that. So I'd completely forgotten about it, and then I got sort of recommended one by eBay, and I thought, well, it'd be rude not to, really, because it's another Corgi. I seem to be gradually filling out my Corgi catalogue sort of collection, which wasn't something I was going for at all. But just those are just my sort of more sort of recent acquisitions.
Oh, good stuff.
The Superman thing, if it's able to allow him to travel through space, then it's probably just as well that he has it, because his power comes from our yellow sun. So once he leaves our solar system, he's knackered.
No, he's not, because he stores his solar power, so he can last.
So he can use it on a night time. Then he charges up again the following day.
He's not the nuclear bloke who was like that in that super naff Superman film. Come on, he's got more reserves than that. I mean, there was a character who was that solar powered called Apollo, who was in the Stormwatch series. Yeah, Apollo and Midnighter, that pairing, and Apollo was very quick to run out of charge if he wasn't getting boosted. But I think Superman can also obviously use his super breath to take in a massive amount of air into his lungs. So in theory, he could fly for a while without air. We do see him doing orbits of the Earth in some of the films as well, of course. But it depends which version of film Superman you're talking about, because sometimes you see him going up with an oxygen mask as well. So he's got a bit of extended range on that basis. But it varies the treatment of it, I think, as to how much he actually needs in that sense.
But I mean, that's the thing. Why would Superman want to go back to Krypton? Because he knows it was destroyed. So why? I mean, that was the thing. I mean, I do genuinely enjoy Superman Returns. I do like it. But that was one thing I thought, well, why would he go back to Krypton when he knew it was destroyed? And also, how did he get back? Did he build a little spaceship and flit off? Or did he just jump and fly there? Or...
No, he used a spaceship, because as I recall, he crashes at the start of the movie, having gone back to his Kansas farm. Right. He crashes, I think, presumably in the spaceship that brought him to Earth in the first place, which he reused. Right. But I agree with you. It does seem daft that he went back, but presumably he was going just to double check that it was in fact destroyed.
Yeah.
I guess would be the logic there. He was just going to investigate his origins and make sure that he wasn't wrong, basically.
Yeah. Because the other thing that got me, which I didn't, because I don't know too much about, I just know what I know through the films, is I remember when I was a kid and I went to see Supergirl, and it was like, I don't think in the Supergirl film it makes it clear, but it was much later on where I learned that apparently she left Krypton before Superman, but arrived to Earth after him. And it was like,
yes,
but she went. If I remember from the movie, I think Superman arrived to Earth via space, but she came to Earth via inner space. I think via the Phantom Zone, if I remember the film correctly.
A little bit, yeah. She
appears on Earth by coming up through the lake, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think. Wasn't the setup for Supergirl that there was a power source that was powering what I assume was Kandor, and she had been using it to make stuff, and then somehow the power source kind of got away from her and ended up on Earth, so she went after it. And as you say, I think she probably went through some sort of, let's call it a subspace tunnel or something, and popped up and then sort of went hunting for it. Then the evil lady got hold of it, blah, 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 adventures ensue, Phantom Zone, imprisonment, escapes the Phantom Zone, gets back to Earth, final battle, and then she takes the power source. Was it the Omnihedron or something it was called?
Yeah,
And then she takes it-
dodecahedron or something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And then she takes it. Then she takes it back, and obviously the city is revived and everyone is saved. Blah blah blah. And all this time, Superman's off on a goodwill tour to an alien planet, and so he doesn't appear in the film at all.
No. You see a poster of him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it. Because it has. I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, Faye Dunaway plays the witch. Then you've got Peter O'Toole, and then you've also got Peter Cook in it as well.
Yeah, that was the one crossover. There was the one crossover was that Jimmy Olsen was in it, wasn't he? From the Superman
Yes, he was.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That was one crossover. Which I think she uses him as a way to establish an Earth identity. I think, doesn't she? I think he says that she's his cousin or something.
Yeah, because there's Lois Lane's younger sister's in it as well, isn't she? Or the character's introduced as Lois Lane's younger sister, because I think she goes to sort of like she ends up going to school with her, like under her alter ego.
Under an alter ego thing. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite well done of its sort. Quite forward thinking for its time, actually, because I mean that could be the first super heroine movie, possibly.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, Helen Slater, she was very easy on the eyes.
She was a Supergirl. Yes.
She was. She was. And then maybe when she has surgery, she could be Power Girl.
When she gets the optional airbag upgrade, yeah.
Yes. I mean, that was something else as well. I didn't know that Power Girl was Supergirl.
Yeah, is it? But it's not what you're saying, is it?
It's another Earth Supergirl.
Yeah.
Not the main DC universe's Earth.
No. Yeah, I'm not au fait with most comics. I do have two things to quickly show, but I'm gonna nip off camera 2 minutes to yeah. And then I'll talk.
Well, you've just been talking about Ellen Slater, so
Guys gotta do what a guy's gotta do,
I'm too old for that business now. So give me a moment, chaps.
So have you been catching up on Ahsoka?
I'm not bang up to date. I haven't had time to watch it today, but I am otherwise up to date. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, what did you think of last week's?
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, all of a sudden, Sabine's rather more competent with the lightsaber than she was first time round, although she has had a bit of training, of course. Still can't use the Force. All that sort of, I'm going to push you away. All right, no, I'm not. I'll just shoot you dead. It's like...
It's a shame she didn't do that with Bale and Skull, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, I wouldn't put it past them to have a cunning plan that involved her getting captured. I wondered if that was actually part of their plan, because logically, she would never have been able to hold her own, and she would have known that as well. I mean, there's no way in hell she would have held up against 2 Jedi, let alone 1. So, that was kind of interesting. And then obviously, we get the reveal of Anakin at the end of that episode, and it's like, oh, okay, so we're back to that. When as soon as she woke up, as soon as I saw where she woke up, I thought, yeah, I know where this is. So I've seen just enough Rebels to know where that is. But then I thought, well, how did she get there? What if she gets near death? She just appears there. It's like, I don't get it.
I'm not convinced at all that she's actually in the world between worlds. I'm not going to talk spoilers for today's episode for you, though. But okay. Yeah,
You have your doubts.
I've had a look, and nobody seems to have come up with this theory yet. Everyone seems to be quite dead set that she is in the world between worlds, but there's no explanation whatsoever for how she gets there.
Right.
And there's no explanation whatsoever for how she gets out of it. She literally passes out into it and wakes up out of it. I think it's all in her head.
It could be a Force vision.
It could be a Force vision. I think it's all in her head, and the vision or the dream presents itself to her as the world between worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure that it's officially it is there, but it doesn't come across as that to me. But I've got to be honest with you, I really enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you do too when you get round to it.
Cool. Yeah, I will get round to it. I will definitely try and catch it. It's been one of those days today.
Unless he's hiding behind that wall listening, I'm going to make a prediction that Ed hated it, because he normally does. I know he didn't like last week's episode either. So.
Interesting. Apparently, the chap who plays the let's call him a dark Jedi or a fallen Jedi, whatever, is actually passed away. Sadly.
Yeah, that is quite sad.
I really liked the way he was portraying it.
Really good.
Yeah, such a shame.
Such a shame. Is that last week's episode with the whole very, very good, very convincing.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
Oh, he's got another parcel to show us.
We're just talking about Ahsoka.
We were, yes.
Yes, but not today's episode.
Have you not seen today's episode? All right, I won't talk about it then. I won't talk about it. The
gentleman has passed. Yeah.
He's not in this week's episode, is he? Though.
No, he's not. No.
I should, given what my avatar is, I should just mention that if we start experiencing any abnormal tides today, the reason will be that the moon has broken away from the Earth's orbit. This is the breakaway day.
I know what he's talking about.
1999, when the moon left the Earth's orbit and went on its adventuring in the series Space 1999.
Oh, really?
On this day, September 13th, 1999, is breakaway day. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Okay.
Bothered.
Maybe we'll. Did you take a look at that link I sent you, Andy?
I haven't looked at it yet. I just caught a little bit of a video that was streaming live, actually, which I think is about it.
Right.
There seems to be quite large plans around doing stuff around the Eagles and stuff, and so doing replicas and VR walkthroughs and all sorts. So,
right.
Yeah. So I will definitely have to have a little delve at that when I've got a bit more time.
Yeah. I must admit, I've not had a great look at it, but it's on my list of things to do to take a look at it. 'Cause when it came up on my news feed, I thought, oh, yep, okay, I'll send that. But yeah, no. So yeah, there's just. I'm just trying to think. No, just hang on. We're hanging. You hang. Right, yes. So there's three things. I'll be quickly through them. First thing that came through, I think this came through our sender last week. It was, and that was G.I. Joe classified Snow Serpent.
I remember you mentioned that before. Yeah,
I'm not.
But he's a wolf.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I had Action Force as a kid. Not many, but I did have Action Force as a kid. But towards the back end, I did pick up a couple of G.I. Joe figures. Now, I only had 5 G.I. Joe figures, and they were Snake Eyes, Barbecue, Crimson Guard, Eels, and Snow Serpent. So when the classified line came around, I thought, well, right, I'm not going to go full in or lean into that because I just can't. There's too many of them. So I thought, right, I'll just pick up. If they ever do, I will pick up the 5 that I had as a kid. And so Snow Serpent is the last of the 5 that I had as a kid, and there he is. And he's quite a chunky boy. It's quite a hefty figure when he's all tooled up. So that's the base figure as it is. But then he's got this rather fetching. Let me just open it up. I'm not a big fan of this packaging, but I do like this. It's like almost like a foot locker that they send all the accessories in.
Ah, cool.
And Snow Serpent. But yeah, so he has, and apparently I don't know if it's official, but it cropped up on one of the G.I. Joe groups, and apparently you get like a little cape and
Oh,
headgear,
wow. That's impressive, yeah.
which is a timber wolf, and apparently it's supposed to be Snake Eyes' wolf, pet wolf. So timber, and basically, so the cape clips on with a peg at the back, and then you just shove the headgear on like that. I mean, it's not straight because I've just plonked it on, but yeah, it goes on straight. But there's loads of accessories. I mean, you got a snowboard. There's all sorts. It's all there, like snowboard, rocket launcher. So this definitely falls in the bracket of a deluxe figure.
Yeah, but that's a shed load of accessories for a figure, isn't it? I mean,
the only thing is this little dagger. He gets a little dagger with him, and for the life in me, I cannot find where he stores it. You know, there's no little sheath or scabbard or anything like that, or little cubbyhole about his person to put it. So I'm just wondering whether or not it's an accessory they've just wanged in with it, you know, just for the sake of it or what. I don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, that was the first thing to oh, bloody hell, there's bits dropping out of it.
Don't lose your bits.
I know. That's the only thing with it. I'll just put that to there. And then the other two came today, and they are the Transformers, and we have Remix Motif RMX-10 and Remix Pitch RMX-12, and they are
better known as
Blasters cassettes.
The what? Sorry,
The Blasters cassettes.
they are Spoil Sport.
What was it? Steeljaw Rewind.
So you've got Eject.
Oh yes.
And Rewind.
Oh well, 1 out of 2 is not bad.
And they come in these really, really, really nifty cases that fold out, and then you've got like a collector card.
Oh well, okay.
You go,
Cool.
and like all that, and then the cassette itself slides out the bottom. And you've got the cassette there. Now these
Wow.
are designed and based on like a full size. They're actually exactly the same size as a full
I
size.
was going to say that's huge.
Yeah. And I've not transformed. In fact, I've not done anything with them today. They came this morning. I literally took them out of the box, and they've been sat there. I haven't got around to doing out with them. So I'll transform them later. I'll be doing some photographs, which will go up on the website anyway. But I won't drag things out by trying to do it now. But those
non-transforming tape.
yeah, 1-to-1 scale. But the artwork and the design sleeves on these were designed by Chogo King, who was the gentleman that I interviewed on Collector's Archive
Of course, yeah.
for the summer special.
I like that one. That was great. Yeah, he was really, really interesting. Bless him. Yeah.
He designed those, and
Wow.
great, really great work. So that's what I've had come through this week. Oh, you get like a load of accessories. There's some like extra bits. Three different heads, some shoulder pads, and then some. You get them for each one, so you can have them looking. You can either have them looking how they looked in the cartoon, or have them looking how they look in the IDW comic, I think it is, and then the toy. So there's different ones. There's different head sculpts.
I remember that. I can't remember which when I first saw Blaster, whether it was in the comics or in Transformers the movie. And just just the random idea that the Autobots had someone equivalent to Soundwave was like, whoa, because you sort of assume that when you see Soundwave that he's going to be unique. And then all of a sudden Blaster rocks up and he's like, oh yeah, actually they've got a match for Soundwave. It's
he first saw him in. Well, I suppose it depends what side of the pond you were on. If I remember rightly, we first saw him here in the UK in the comics. He was a character in season 2 of the cartoon. He was in that.
Yeah.
As was Perceptor, but
yeah,
I'll be honest. The first time I saw both those characters was in the comic, the UK Marvel comic, and then the first time I saw them in animated form was the movie in HD. Because as a kid, I never saw any of the season 2 episodes.
No, I don't know. I don't know when I would have seen them at all. Actually, as you say, I mean, there were some videos that came out. I remember seeing, is it War Dawn and Key to Vector Sigma? I got those on video. I remember. So
Right.
those were quite a sort of time hop away from the first season of sort of Wackaday sort of Transformers.
Wackaday tended to just show the episodes from the first season.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, I don't think it ever got past. Well, no, I don't think it did, because I think by the time that the second season came along, I think it had shifted over to, was it Sky B or something like that, or whatever they called it.
That would explain why I would have stopped then. Yeah, because my parents frowned on that sort of thing.
Yeah, the satellite services. I think it went over to that by that time. So, but yeah, so like I say, as a kid. Well, to be fair, as a kid, the most thing I ever watched was Arrival from Cybertron, the video. And then when the movie came out, and then I remember getting the was it Smiths, WH Smiths, was it? Rather WH Smiths or Woolworths in my hometown. I got the movie Video Gems. It was the VHS video.
I remember the black clamshell quite vividly. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember I think we made I persuaded my parents to go on a special trip to take me to Chester to see the film. I don't think it was very widely distributed. I can only imagine it wasn't if that's where I had to go to see it. So that was quite, that was a sort of a thing that I did just because I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
I was still just about into them at that point, and of course, then they just go and kill them all.
Yeah.
Brutally,
yeah.
and it's like, what?
Yeah. Well, that was the remit from Hasbro. Hasbro said, we want to clear the decks, because we want to push the new line of toys,
And so they did.
but as a result of what happened, the backlash from it, they altered the G.I. Joe movie so that, is it Flint or Duke or whatever, it was the main guy in that, because he was originally supposed to be killed off in that. But they ended up, he just went into a coma, so.
He's had a really long shower.
Yes, having a long shower, and he gets disturbed by Pam Ewing. And who wouldn't want to be disturbed by Pam Ewing? Unless you're the man from Atlantis.
Same bloke,
yes. Do you remember the man from Atlantis, Andy?
I am aware of the Man from Atlantis. I do not remember the Man from Atlantis. I know of it.
Yeah, I don't think I would have seen it on its initial run. I think it's probably reruns, repeats that I saw it on. But I do remember watching a few episodes. And it was, but it was. I think it was at that time where it was like, oh, that's that man that's in Dallas kind of thing,
Yeah.
So I think I knew Patrick Duffy mainly from Dallas because my mum used to watch it. Every. Was it Saturday? Was it on a Saturday night?
Probably. It? Yeah, it feels like a Saturday night sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's him. It's the same bloke kind of thing. But yeah, that would have been the same time that Thingy was on as well. Incredible Hulk.
And Buck Rogers and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
So 6 o'clock on a Saturday or a Sunday, that was a sort of prime time slot for imported American goodness. Yes. On BBC.
Yeah. And I mean, most of them were by the same bloke as well. He had Glenn A. Larson had some kind of finger in those pies, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Battlestar, Buck, Knight Rider. Not sure what A-Team.
No, I think that was that Glenn Gordon Karen. Was it Karen? Did it? I don't know. Oh, it might be. Magnum. That was Glenn Larson, wasn't it? Magnum.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me consult the tinkle web.
I'm already there. Automan, Manimal, the Fall
Automan,
Guy,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Fall
and
Guy.
the Bear,
Yeah.
Mission Galactica, Quincy, the Highwayman.
Yeah, BJ and the Bear had an awesome Kenworth truck in it. It was like red and white. This red and white Kenworth truck. It looked beautiful. Did that? Yeah, and Quincy. I remember watching Quincy. Oh, I love that one.
The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew.
Oh yeah.
No, I've heard of it, but I've not watched that.
Magnum PI.
Yeah, Magnum PI.
Hitman, Alias Smith and Jones.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah. But and I didn't know this until recently. Magnum PI had a crossover episode with Murder, She Wrote.
What?
Cool.
$6 million.
Yeah, $6 million man. I used to love that as a kid.
And then a load of other stuff I've never heard of.
We can rebuild him. We have the technology. Faster,
Watching an episode of that other day. He went to a friend's ranch. And it was like riding horses.
Was he running very quickly in slow motion?
Yes. I had the toys. My favourite one of that wasn't Steve Austin. It was Mascotron. That was awesome. Was Mascotron?
Mascotron. What's the Mascotron?
Well, it was a 12-inch figure, and it was like a robot, but it had it had 3 different faces. So one face was actually Steve Austin. So you could literally have 2 figures in one. You could have a Steve Austin and this Mascotron. The other one was it was Oscar's face. The boss guy. And then the third face.
Here we go.
Yeah, the third face was quite generic, although it did have a bit of a look of John Saxon, who turned up. I think it was in one of the series. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I had that. Love that.
You can replace it for £240 and 20
No,
pence.
I shall let it be a happy memory.
Look at that.
Yeah. God, I played hours with that. Yeah, and the little blocks came out of his chest, like the little robot working blocks. And I had the Steve Austin, and then I had this. It was like a blue spaceship kind of thing, but it was like a repair pod as well. It opened up, and it had like like tubes and pipes that would like repair him.
All right.
I think it was like something like a repair pod or something like that. Just Steve Austin repair pod or something like that.
There he is.
That's not it.
No, I didn't have that.
Bionic mission.
I know which one it is because I was offered one a few weeks ago.
I've seen him lying down on a table in an auction recently.
There we go. That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That were it.
Repair station. That's why that's
Station.
Repair station. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. Nostalgia overload. Yeah, played hours with that bloody thing.
There's all the tubes.
Yeah, them is
That's
tubes.
like a foot long. So I mean, they're big figures, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, them blue arm things that used to hang over, and the base thing, like, used to hover above, like, put it on him and hold it above him. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Ah, hell. And then that little panel thing, it had, like, twisty things on it. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Mm.
But, yeah, that's probably silly money now as well, I think. So that's...
I imagine complete ones in good condition there.
Yeah, I think
that's a lot of little bits to be missing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can pick up incomplete ones quite cheap, to be fair.
Yeah, but yeah, it's something that's. I'm happy for it to be a good memory. Unless there's a lottery win. If there's a lottery win, it's like, all right. Go out and whatever, spend away. So
I'll tell you what's funny actually, and this is I'm harkening back to Spider-Man and Zoids comics again, but there was I know, Gareth, I know. Get off it one day. But it's just an interesting microcosm for eBay behaviors, because there was one issue that I was after, and it's quite unusual to find just a sort of single issues that you're particularly after to try and complete a set. So I was playing the long game with this guy because he didn't seem to be accepting offers worth a damn, and he was basically trying to sell it for what he'd managed to sell it for once before, which was like 25 quid for an issue. And I'm like, I'm just not, I can't do that. And I was smiling triumphantly to myself because I then managed to pick up about 5 issues for £3.50. So I ended up getting it for about 60p rather than 20 quid.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, but it was because he'd done it once, he thought he could do it again. And I thought it was just a case of, he got the right bloke at the right time with the daft amount of money there to do it. I just thought it's not even his first UK appearance, probably. It's just a reprint of a US appearance that happens to have the Hobgoblin. So it's not worth a damn, actually. But
no.
Fortunately, you've been able to convince somebody that it is, and they've paid the silly price for it. But it is fascinating, that obviously, at the end of the day, you can sell stuff for whatever people will pay for it. But a little bit of research will get you a long way. And if you are patient enough, I know I've since managed to pick up 2 of them for a fraction of that price because they just have job lots, and other people haven't tried to profiteer off the back of them. They're just trying to turn a few quid, So it is quite telling the way the market on eBay does work, because they'll look at the last sold for sort of figure. But if you get them in job lots, of course, you can often get them a lot cheaper because they can't compare the job lots as easily. So they'll just do it as a job lot, which is a benefit to you if you're trying to find a single issue, because you'll pay less for the job lot than you would have done for the single issue. So
it is interesting. I mean, recently, like on the Transformers side, you had the thing with for what 30 odd years, a particular issue was worth pence. Nobody gave a damn of it. But then one day, somebody suddenly decided that the first appearance of Deathshead in the Transformers comic was worth 80 odd quid, 90 quid. And it's like, so then they just started flooding eBay, like £90 and upwards and things like that. I mean, the prices have come vastly down now because I think people have realised and thought, oh, hang on a minute, no. And they've come down to more sensible things. But it's just like, who was the person, or who is it that just suddenly decides, right, I'm going to pay £130 for a comic that if I went and looked for it a few days ago, I could have probably bought it for about £3. It's like, it's bonkers, because it's not, I just don't get it. I just don't, what clicks with people, seemingly overnight, and then just start going mental over a comic. It wouldn't have been so bad if it had been an anniversary of something, or if it had been a milestone or whatever, or this. But it just seemed to come out of nowhere. And it was just like, right.
It was because they made a new series of Deathshead comics.
Was it?
Yeah.
That could have spiked it.
Yeah. They made a new series and everyone thought it was going to be really good. So it pushed the price up. There was rumours of a movie or TV appearance. Right. Straight away, you get speculators going mad then because they think they've got the next Deadpool.
Right.
A 30 quid comic that's now worth 500-600 quid.
Right.
Just because of the film.
Just because, yeah.
So you get a lot of speculators that go for that, but then the comic series ended up being a load of rubbish, and obviously it brought the price back down. And then there's been no word afterwards about any TV or movie appearance. So it's gone.
So this new comic appearance, was it the proper Deathshead, or was it like Deathshead 2?
No, it was the proper.
It was the proper one.
Was it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I've got it.
The thing I liked about it was whoever it was that was doing the artwork was obviously a fan of the source, the creator of Deathshead, because he had a big. In the background, there's a poster on the wall that says Simon and the Furminators.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that. Even though Simon Furman of Marvel have fallen out over the whole Deathshead thing.
Have they?
At least whoever's doing it now they still recognise Simon Furman as the creator.
Yeah, well, he was.
I believe his name should still be attached to it in some way.
Yeah, he did create it. He did create the character. It's so in the new appearance. Then does he have the green puffer jacket again? Because I know that at one point they made it blue. They give him a blue jacket.
Let me just go and see if I can hunt it down somewhere, because I have got it.
Got what? The newer comics, Andy?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Bear with me.
No worries.
Where's my mouse?
But yeah, no, I mean, I mean, to be fair, I mean, he's not. He's an okay character, but he's not really. He's not like a linchpin or a pivotal character in the comics at all. He just turns up for a few issues, does what he does, and then beggars off. You know, it's like.
There you go. Can I get the picture up any bigger? Can I get a bigger picture?
Right.
Oh, all right, go away. No, I can't get a bigger picture than that.
Yeah, because I can see him there with his blue, with his blue attire. Because they made a, didn't they make a figure of that one with the blue?
They did, yeah.
Was it a Marvel Legends one?
That poster there. It says Simon and the Furminators on it.
Right.
And it's just a tiny little nod like that, but I love it. I do. Can you actually see where my cursor is? There's me trying to point out this tiny little poster. I don't even know if you can see that. No. Right. Okay. Let me switch. Present to.
All right. There we go.
Yeah. So I started getting individual issues, and then the graphic novel came out. So I decided to go that way instead.
There we go. That tiny little poster there, if you can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. I can see where your cursor is now, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't realise I'd clicked on that. And it had taken me to that, but it hadn't taken you to that.
Oddly, he looks like he's in his original colours there. But he isn't.
He's in the blue.
It's his blue uniform that's actually in the comic. But there's this guy features in it. And he's like a sort of Death's Head spin-off.
Right.
It's got Necker's in it, and rather nicely at the right at the back of it, it's actually got this strip which you'll recognise, Ed, I imagine. In fact, this actually takes up quite a lot of it, because this is actually Death's Head 1. That's actually Death's Head 1 reprinted in the back of this graphic novel.
Right. Yeah. That's how I remember him looking, with the green and yellow, and then the red kit.
That's his Transformers uniform.
Yeah.
That's his first appearance uniform. Yeah. So that was his first of his 1 to 10 issue standalone run. Which I used to have all of, and I now have one example of that I picked up randomly recently. It's stupid because I've got the complete Death's Head sat in my bookcase over there, but I just picked it up for the sake of it. And this deals with his transformation into the blue version of him. Right. If you, I don't know if you recall, but he had a run-in with Dragon's Claws, which resulted in his original body getting rather marmalized, which is why he ended up looking like that. Right. And that was his first full new appearance with an upgraded body.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Marvel doing it to distance it from Furman's variation of it.
No, I think that was still Furman. That was still Furman writing that version originally. Yeah.
Right.
I believe so, because I don't know if it says who the credits are here.
So at that point, then is he still big, or is he being shrunk down at that point?
No, he's shrunk down. He's human-sized here, because somewhere in between when we last see him in the Transformers comic, and when we see him in his own series, he's met the Doctor.
He has, yes.
And the Doctor has shrinkinator'd him down to his tissue compressed him down to human size, and I imagine that is covered in, he says, Death's Head Volume 1 or something.
It was issue 8.
Oh, so we actually have a comic where we can see that story, where that happens.
We certainly do. It was issue 8.
Oh, was that actually in his own run, do you think? So I thought it was I thought it was actually in a Doctor Who comic as such. So that's Dragon's Claws. Here we are.
So, why does he shrink him down then? What's the gist of it then?
The gist of it is that Death's Head is an enormous giant bloke. The Doctor is death. So Doctor Who being Doctor Who, not carrying any heavy artillery. So if you look at the frame here,
right, yeah,
that Death's Head in Transformers size, and the little ickle bloke there is Doctor Who.
right.
And then Doctor Who then zaps him, hence the yarg bit.
Yeah.
And he ends up being the same size as Doctor Who thereafter.
Right.
So that's how he transforms down.
So, but what I'm saying is, sort of like what's the kind of like gist, as in why is Death's Head having a run in with the Doctor?
This is Doctor Who issue 135. So basically, it appears that Death's Head crashes into the TARDIS when the TARDIS is in flight, causing both of them to be knocked out of the time stream.
Right.
And thusly, he ends up having a confrontation with the Doctor.
Right.
It's that random.
Right. So it's not like someone's put a bounty on the Doctor and he's kind of
I don't think so. So all too often, these situations right away becomes a matter of some dispute. This is still script by Simon Furman, editor Richard Starkings, art by Jeff Senior. And that's when a time warden usually appears.
Well, Simon Furman also wrote for Doctor Who.
Which is probably exactly why he's turned up in Doctor Who.
Right.
So he just murders too. Oh, I see. So name's Death's Head. Some people call me a bounty hunter, but never twice, yes. Got thrown into the time vortex during altercation with my last target. He died. See, when people get in my way, I either bargain with them or kill them. Anything to trade, eh? Well, there's, as I thought, nothing. And then he sort of disconnects his fist, which then lands on the Doctor to pin him down. And of course, McCoy is then left sort of trying to figure out how he's going to get himself not spiked by Death's Head's mace attachment, which could have been a sticky end. But yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's nice collected works. Sort of graphic novel, that one.
I might have to see if there's somewhere online to read it online. I find it quite interesting.
Yeah.
So I do recall in the I couldn't tell you what issue of the Transformer comic it was, but I think it was on one of the back pages or one of the sort of like coming soon kind of pages. It was like a little black and white illustration, and I think it showed you the Doctor running away from Death's Head. So I mean, that was back in the day. That was the only reason why I knew that there was something to do with Death's Head and the Doctor.
Yeah, and we got that High Noon text strip. I think is this strip they used to establish him as a character outside of Transformers, so that Marvel actually owned him rather than Hasbro owning him.
Yeah,
because I think if he'd appeared with the Transformers first, Hasbro would have got dibs on him.
Yeah,
as I recall. So,
but either way, Mr. Furman was robbed of him.
Yeah, I don't know when Furman stopped being involved, but do you think with Death's Head 2, maybe?
I don't know. And like I said, I don't know much past that. To be fair,
he's definitely still heavily involved with the mini series. He's definitely in there in that sort of 1 to 10 issue run. He's still being credited. So, yeah.
But no, when you create something for a company, you have to accept that the company owns it.
Well, wasn't it the same thing that happened with Spawn? No, Venom. Venom, and then he went to make Spawn, didn't he?
Yeah. Although he was only the artist on that anyway, he didn't write it, so he didn't actually own it anyway. It would have been the writer who created the character.
Right.
But then when he created Spawn, he just created Venom.
Right.
Spawn was very much Venom.
Right.
Andy's still looking at something.
Oh, so it would be rude not to fetch out my Dragon's Claws collected works as well. They used to have all issues 1 to 10 of that one as well, but Death's Head appears in a crossover in that as well. So that's one of his other sort of crossover appearances. So yeah.
Very cool.
I'll do a video on that at some point. I think I've got probably most of the Death's Head output now in those collected ones, and obviously this new version that's come out. And I've got Death's Head 2 random single issues scattered about the place as well, which I should probably try and herd together at some point.
So do you do that then? Do you try and get the single issues as well as the trade paperbacks?
No, most of my single issues date from sort of Lands Before Time sort of era when I was collecting in my 80s, when in fact graphic novels weren't really a thing then, and you certainly couldn't order them online. So I was a single issue collector up to a point. Then I had my sort of natural pause, and then when I came back, I actually sold some of my collection online, actually directly from my website at points. Back in the day, just because I was, fairly skintish, so I thought I need to try and liquidate some assets here. So I did sell my Dragon's Claws and my Death's Head and stuff, which was probably pretty stupid because they're probably worth quite a reasonable amount now. So then I replaced those with the graphic novel equivalents when I had cash to get them back again. As with many of these collecting things. But just recently, I realized that of course eBay is a ridiculously helpful source of random stuff if you're just kind of browsing and they're offering a deal on it or whatever. So I've just picked up a few things that sort of caught my eye just to have a look at stuff of late, but it's only very late at night when I'm just sort of brain dead and just surfing and just whatevering really. So nothing very conscious, just for sort of like the Batman Beyond comics and stuff. I just sort of go, oh, they look interesting, and I'll get some of those. So I haven't been very scientific about it. And as I say, I've now got God knows how many random comics scattered about the place. So I went through a phase of that. And then I reminded myself that perhaps I ought to not do that because I've only got a finite amount of space in the house.
Fair enough. The other day, you text me a link to a Mighty Max eBay listing.
Yes.
Of all the things, of all the Mighty Maxes that's on eBay, why did you send that one?
Purely because it came up in my recommendations, I think.
Right, okay.
So I just pinged it across on the basis that I didn't know if you had it. I didn't know what sort of price it was. It had an offer on it as well, so I just sort of pinged it across. That was why. See, this is what always makes me chuckle. The pictures on eBay always have me picturing things as being huge when in fact they're teeny tiny.
Yeah, it was this one.
Yeah.
They had it listed for 50 quid. And there's no way I'm paying 50 quid for that.
Well, not when you've already got it, no.
If I didn't already have it, I wouldn't be paying that. But it's a cool one. It is a cool one.
Oh, wow. They're cleverly done. They're very cleverly designed. Fair dues to them.
You get a trap in it as well to trap Max. You got Max in there. I don't know if it's the correct one. He's got a green hat in this one.
Cool.
And then...
It's clever, though, because it keeps it all in one place as well, which means you're less likely to lose the teeny tiny figures.
A little monster for him to fight.
Monster. Cool.
Arachnoid monster. Yes. It's a cool playset.
Yeah.
I do like that. I love the fact that they just spark the imagination.
Mm.
You know, there's no story already written for it. It's up to you. I love that.
But the Mighty Max stuff, was there ever any like sort of like, you know, was there any media to back that toy line up, or was it just purely a toy line? Right.
They did do a cartoon of it. I don't know how long it lasted. I think it was a series or 2 series.
Right.
The idea in that was he inherits, or he's given a magical hat by his father, I think. And when he puts the hat on, it transports him to another world.
Right.
Danger zone or something, which is where these kind of things happen.
Right.
But, bearing in mind that there would have been quite a lot of episodes per series, they didn't do that many of these.
Yeah.
There wasn't like one for every episode or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I just and I only found out a few weeks ago as well. There was a Mighty Max comic.
Yes, you said. I remember. Yeah, you were saying.
It was purely a case of looking for some Mighty Max things. There were like 2 or 3 of these plus a comic. I was like, oh, I didn't know there were any comics. It's random issue number 9. I was like, oh, let me have a look and see if I can get any of these comics. There's like 2 on eBay and they're ridiculous prices. I'm not paying that. And it's not even a case of they're selling for that. It's just people thinking, oh, there's none of these on eBay. I can charge what I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they can try. They can try. Oh, I did have a new edition this week. I got myself a Death Star droid to put with the mental shelf. I got it. It was someone on Facebook that was selling it in one of the Facebook groups. 28 weeks posted. I thought for the apparent condition of it, that seemed quite good. I was planning on buying it to sell it, but then when it came, I can see that there's glue in the joints.
Ooh.
They've put it in there to stop this and C-3PO are renowned for when you shake it, the arms and legs just wobble everywhere, and they're difficult to stand up. So they've put some glue in it to stiffen the joints. And it also looks like the black on the shoulders have been painted as well, and the eyes. So I thought, you know what? I can't sell that. I can't with... I can't sell it and not lie. And not...
Yeah.
You know, I won't be able to make a profit on it and tell the truth when I sell it.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And I don't lie. So I thought I'll just stick it on my shelf of random nutters. It fits in there with the vintage Star Wars and the Action Force. The silver on it's very nice. There's no wear to the silver, which is why I'm surprised that they've touched up the black.
Are you sure it's been touched up? I mean, how do you tell such a thing?
Well, I wasn't 100% sure at first, but the fact that there's glue in those joints tells me that they've done something to it.
There's been tinkering, yes.
Yeah, so if it's not original, I might as well not try fobbing it off to someone else.
That's fair enough.
The book stops with me. Someone else has managed to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that Death Star droid that I have, that's the arms are stiff, but the legs are. The legs, you know, but it's got quite a sweet spot, and if you get the sweet spot, it will stay stood up.
Okay.
But if you don't hit that sweet spot, it's like boom, it's straight down, like, you know.
It's like.
Oh, I think so. It's the hips that are the issue. Then it's where it joins the body, right?
Yeah, it's where the joint it just slumps forward. But I mean, that was quite interesting when I picked up the second part of the New Hope retro collection.
Right. Yes.
That came out recently, and obviously busted them open. I put them on reproduction Palatoy cards. But the 3PO that's with that isn't the original 77 or 78 3PO. It's the 3PO from Empire Strikes Back, so the one with removable limbs.
I remember that one.
You know, which is great, you know, because it's like, well, you know, I thought that were good, you know, because you could pull them apart. But also as well, they added on that, you could take the head off as well, which you couldn't do on the original one. So it was all fully...
So they were in for a penny, in for a pound with that one then when they did it.
So it was great, you know. I thought, oh, that's awesome, you know, that they've done that. So it's like, you know, is there a future plan down the line that maybe they'll do a retro Chewbacca with his carry net, you know, that you can
remember that as well,
drop him in kind of thing, you know. But yeah, that was nice. It was nice on that retro collection to see the chromed, you know, the vacuum metalized 3PO and R2. That was nice because I remember reading, you know, before they came out that there was some debate whether or not Hasbro would do it, you know, whether they'd just go painted rather than. Oh, evening, girl.
You missed all the excitement, Gap.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
How many have we got watching, Gareth?
We've just gone up to 5. It's been very, very slow tonight. Very slow.
No worries. I'm just saying, does anyone want to ask any questions of us?
Well, if there's anyone still listening.
Yeah, if anyone's listening for the what, because we're what? It's about 10 to 11, is it? You know,
so let's say we've got another 10 or 15 minutes to go. We normally knock off at 11 o'clock, don't we? If anyone does have any questions, stick them in the comments now. I'm surprised you haven't already. I'm going back to Ahsoka now. And I'm not going to spoil anything for Andy who hasn't seen today's, but did you enjoy or dislike this week's episode?
Me?
Yeah. Seen it, Andy hasn't.
Did I? There were certain parts that I enjoyed, which I think you'll know the parts that I'm referencing to. But I will be honest, and I'm really, really trying not to put it in a position where I spoil it, but maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm missing something or anything like that, but I didn't get it.
Yeah. I think it's one of those, but you're not meant to.
It was like, right, you've done this thing to show us a thing, to move us onto a thing, but I don't understand how you've done it or how we're supposed to interpret that you've done it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Trying to be as non-spoilery as something, but it's just like...
Well, bear in mind he's seen last week's episode, so he knows where this week's episode is set.
Right, so you saw last week's episode. So, you have Anakin and you have Ahsoka, yeah?
Yes, in the place between places.
Yes. Now, all I will say is...
Time, there's not a time.
Yeah. I won't spoil it, but what confused me was, or I was like, I don't get that, is he's there to complete her training. But it's like that.
She's
then
managed all right for the last 30 years.
He's there to complete the training of the twin saber-wielding Jedi, who's not a Jedi.
But the thing, it's like it then doesn't. Well, for me, I was like watching it. I'm thinking, but how is this completing her training? What am I supposed to take away from this that she's learned? Yeah, because it's like it doesn't. Well, again, like I said, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe I've missed an episode in Clone Wars or in Rebels or whatever. In Rebels, I know I haven't because I watched all those. But It was just like, well, right, if you were a real life teacher, Anakin, you would suck balls. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, there were some interesting things that they did with it, which was nice, but it was like, are you doing it to move this story forward, or are you just giving us the member berries thing?
I didn't. I don't. I enjoyed the episode. I very, very much enjoyed the episode, but I don't feel like it's moved the story forward in any way at all.
No.
It's. Well, it didn't actually do anything. The only character development we got from it is Ahsoka now feels she can smile, and I'm sorry if that's a spoiler. But for the last 4 episodes prior to that, she hasn't smiled. All she's done is...
Yeah, there is one other thing as well, yeah? And I'm keeping tally on this. We are now 5 for 5, yeah? Where we are reminded, yet again, that Hera is a general and she can do what she wants. Every episode, she says...
nicking an experimental deep-range cruiser or something to go and chasing after...
Yeah, it's just like...
If anything, quite the opposite.
No, she's
a general, and she's not supposed to do this, and she's not allowed to go here, and she's not allowed to do that. That's the problem I have with it. She's a bloody general. She shouldn't need to go ask permission. You're the boss, love. Go do what you need to do.
Like, oh. No,
but would have been rude not to do on breakaway day, wouldn't it, really?
There's still a chain of command. I mean, generals are high up, but there's ranks higher up than them.
Yeah, there are, but do they take their orders from captains? You know, the captain that was sent to rein her back in at the end. Sorry.
Probably not technically, no.
No. And does she take orders from specific senators?
Not in the chain of command.
Exactly. So far, no one of a higher rank than her has told her she can't do something. And the fact that she's doing it in her own bloody spaceship as well is ridiculous. She should be able to do what the hell she wants. Now, whether or not she can take the X-Wings with her, that's questionable.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's not... It's poorly sort of like outlined and described on what she's doing or how she's doing it. You see, it's like when you watch Return of the Jedi and you see them in the like the meeting, if you will, the briefing before they go and attack the second Death Star.
Stop now.
You start like you get the, you know, it's like the reference General Solo, and you get is it Admiral Nadine? Is it?
Yes.
Nadine?
General Nadine.
General Nadine, yeah. And he's giving the orders, yeah. And you get a sense of that there's a hierarchy and there's a structure to it. But since then, subsequently, you don't get that, because it's like you say, you've got senators and then you've got a captain. Now, I can understand it might be that, you know, at that point she's been ordered to stand down, so effectively she's kind of not officially stripped of her rank, but, you know, she's been told, look, you know, you've got to wait there until this person comes to escort you back. So it effectively kind of nullifies her rank at that point, you know.
Almost as if she was a rogue squadron.
Yeah. But I mean, we see a similar thing in new Star Trek. I mean, you look at original Trek and Next Generation, there was a clear-cut, defined hierarchy and chain of command.
Mm-hmm.
New Star Trek, I'm sorry, but if that was a real-life military operation, it absolutely fail within seconds, you know, because you have people answering back, you have people getting over emotional, you know, people just come and say what they want and do what they want. You know, it's just like, it just seems like a free-for-all.
But Star Trek isn't military.
No, Starfleet is military.
Not strictly speaking, it's an exploration group. It became militarized off the back of the Dominion War, certainly. But
No, it was
technically
it was militarized decades before that. It was militarized during the times of Kirk.
but they're only supposed to act and use their weaponry in self-defense. They're not supposed to be a fighting force for the Federation as such. They're structured along those lines.
I mean,
They have an hierarchy, I mean, military or not, they
Yes,
have
they
an
do.
hierarchy.
They have a hierarchy. Yes, absolutely.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it is. It's a militaristic. It's a naval hierarchy because they have
Yes.
admirals, they have commodores, they have captains, things like that. So there's that. You've also, I mean, even the ships itself, the Constitution class Enterprise is described as a heavy battle cruiser. Yeah. So it's. I think it is militaristic, but with exploratory, tendencies, if you will.
And kids and families on board when it comes to next generation time, of course, which is not a military norm. You don't generally get families on board military vessels.
No, it's not.
So,
But wasn't there? I'm pretty sure I remember reading somewhere. Wasn't by the time it came to the Galaxy class vessels, weren't they meant for like a deeper space exploratory missions? So which necessitated taking families because they could be away from Earth, for extended periods, longer than the usual standard 5-year mission.
Potentially, although obviously we've never seen short of Voyager being accidentally put in that situation. We never actually see the Enterprise going particularly deep range.
No.
But it's clear that, when we see the Defiant for the first time, that's actually actively described as Starfleet's first dedicated attack vessel, because it was purely aimed at killing off the Borg. That was why it was put together in the first place. It was not intended to be exploratory in any way, shape, or form. It was just designed to kick ass, basically, and that was it. So that was the first example, probably in a very, very long time, presumably. I mean, there might have been exceptions during the time, because, the thing is, at the time, at Kirk's time, they were almost constantly in some sort of state of conflict with either the Romulans or the Klingons. So they couldn't poodle about in undefended shuttles. They had to have some teeth, and they had to have decent defensive measures, and sometimes defense means offense, and that's kind of hence the heavy battle cruisers and all the rest of it, because Klingon D7 would shred anything less than the Enterprise pretty rapidly. So, fair news. Oh!
Sorry, I'm here. It's just I've just shut my window.
Pedal faster.
There we go. Yeah, just me flap dropped. But yeah, so like I say, I suppose there's potential for it to be open to interpretation, but I always took, like I say, Starfleet to be, they say they're exploratory, science, but I think they're firmly backed up, and they have the roots in a militaristic organization, the Starfleet, and the United Federation of Planets, and so there are those undertones to the descriptives that they use.
Well, the mirror universe, of course, is the complete antithesis to what Starfleet is supposed to be about, because they just go around conquering.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Is it ISS? The ISS Enterprise,
the Imperial Starship.
Enterprise,
yeah. I think it is. I think is the classification.
Because that's where the Defiant ends up in the mirror universe.
Yeah, and those were good episodes. Because my God, the Enterprise, the Constitution class Enterprise at the time of the NX class Enterprise was absolutely kicking everyone's bottoms.
Yes,
it was hilarious. Nothing could come even anywhere near it, which is brilliant. So for a ship that we view as old school, that was very cleverly done. That Saw, oh God, what was it? Somebody had I think if you search it up, someone's use that sort of footage, and they've put the Airwolf theme to it.
Right.
So as they're sort of powering it all up, it's going, it sort of launches out, and it's just like Airwolf killing everything. It's very clever.
Yeah. Well, I can remember when I first saw Next Generation when it first came out over here.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I did enjoy it. I mean, now I find I really struggle to watch. I would say definitely the first season.
Yeah, the early
I would
episodes.
say,
yeah.
I'd say probably the majority of the second season. But what I'm specifically referencing is when I first saw Star Trek was the way that on film the Enterprise D moved through space, how agile, and like, it just like turn about and it all off. And I was like, I want to see Enterprise A, or the refit Constitution move that way, because the original Constitution was always quite sort of like stoic in its movement. It was very sort of like, linear and things like that.
It was much more sort of galleons doing broadsides in space. It wasn't like X-wings whizzing around the place. That just wasn't how they couldn't film it like that in those days.
No, they couldn't. No.
So,
So when you saw the Defiant in the Enterprise episodes, you saw it moving like that, and it was like, yes, that's,
Well, I mean, they did that with most recently with Picard, actually, because we saw it move in a way it never, even the D now just didn't used to move like that.
Yeah.
But it could have done. And look, one of those little things in that episode that always made me smile. Actually, do you recall when they were trapped inside the Dyson sphere?
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the things I really liked in that episode was as they're flying, they're trying to exit the sphere, and they've just blown the Scottish ship up so they can get out. And the helms person,
it's called Relics. The episode's called Relics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Janolan, the ship was called the Janolan. So they detonate the Janolan with torpedoes.
Yeah.
And the helms person, without an order, just sort of goes, and she rotates the ship 90 degrees, and you see that so rarely, but she has to do that to get it out through the gap of the closing doors. I just thought, I love that. It's just a little detail, but you sort of see her do it, and she does it off her own bat. She doesn't get told, don't crash into the doors. She just flips the ship on its axis, and you very rarely see it off axis. Everything in space apparently aligns to everything else in space. And I remember in All Good Things, like one of the things that made me go, yes, when we see the D cloak, is it 90 degrees to the chuffing Klingons. It's like, yes, finally 3 dimensions in space.
Yeah.
It's like, for the first time since Wrath of Khan, they've actually bothered to do that. It's brilliant. Little things,
And like when they're orbiting the planet.
A message for Andy from Gap. You would like this, apparently.
A range of different characters. Funko. Oh, see, I don't get Funko. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. What's this? Okay. I don't get the Funko. I just don't understand it. I don't see why you would.
Yeah.
Is it just for the sake of collecting as many as you possibly can? Because I mean,
I think it is with Funko, yeah.
Because just talk about burning a hole in your pocket. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think the best thing about that is the box.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah,
I think that one falls for me. And there's that I'm happy that it's out there for someone to appreciate and collect, but it's not.
It's only $12 as well. I mean, that's not a lot, is it?
It's not my thing. I don't. I only have one Funko, and it was a gift.
It doesn't float our boats, and neither does it tickle our pickle.
Yeah, that's my single solitary Funko.
Of course.
Which was a gift from my son. Bless him.
Well, he doesn't know any better, bless him.
No,
it's a G1 Transformer though. Fair dues to him.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I do, sir. I do. I saved that for another platform, though. Well, We're past 11 o'clock. We got
Benjamin's going bye-bye.
Benjamin's had enough. Good night.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're all going now, I think, Benjamin.
We are indeed, yes. So
I'm sure I'll see you in the next day or two.
So yes, right. Well, thanks everyone, and thank you for my little surprise earlier on. It's very much appreciated.
Little surprise.
Yes, I will be. I think I'll be. I'm going to go and have a pot of tea, and I think I'll just have a quick thumb through a few issues. Either that or whoosh round the room with my Starfighter.
Yes. Well, you can give us. Your son can have the little one, and then you two can fly as a pair. Then can't you?
No, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to. I forgot to do it earlier on, but what I want to do is right. One more time, Google. This is close. Those are far away.
We can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I said, one more time, Father Dougal. This is close. That is far away.
Oh, yeah.
If you've not seen Father Ted, you won't have a clue what I'm on about.
And it's a good night from us.
Yes. From the Godzilla imposter and the...
It's good night from... I'm far away. I'm very near you.
I show these purely to encourage those that haven't seen this episode from the beginning to go back and watch it.
Yeah, rewind. Be kind and rewind.
I
like that. Be kind and rewind. You should get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm sure it already is somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah. Right. All the best, everyone. Take care. I'll speak to you soon.
Good
Cheers,
night,
all.
everyone. Take care.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.